business.
All right, let's switch focus right now. Thank you so much for staying with us this morning. Right now, we focus on the country's move in terms of diversifying the economy. We have with us Wilfred Gannes, who is the chairman and CEO of Shipbuilding and Repairs, which is, of course, the Shipbuilding and Repair Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago, and also Mr. Jason Steward from Austal. He's the Regional Service Manager. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Welcome.
There's been much talk about the diversification of the economy in many different areas. Upon the Prime Minister's recent state visit to India, there had been, of course, talks of consultations with companies in India. Let's start with Trinidad and Tobago as a port, a competitive port for shipbuilding. Let's start with Mr. Gannes. What are our advantages, competitive advantages?
Our advantages with regards to setting up the shipbuilding and industry in Trinidad and Tobago is that the Gulf of Paria is one of the largest natural deepwater harbors we have. In terms of our access to existing shipping lanes, we are right in the middle of ships going north to south from North America to South America, also the Panama Canal, in terms of that south-south trade as well. And generally, we have a lot of skills that have been developed from the energy sector, which we have noticed easily transferable to the shipbuilding and repair industry here in Trinidad.
Stable weather also a consideration?
Yes, we lie beneath the hurricane belt, which is also advantage for setting up this industry, because quite naturally insurance rates would be less.
Mr. Stewart, how much of, I don't want to say challenge, but how far are we from setting up a really lucrative shipbuilding and repair industry in Trinidad and Tobago, given it's a highly competitive sector around the world, and we will really have to prove that we're offering a significant advantage to take business from those other jurisdictions that have a head start on us?
I think there's a really good basis. As you mentioned, the government in the budget statement is looking towards this, so there's the impetus there, and there's the technology base that already exists. It's built upon a good education base and a good trades and profession base, so I think it's really, really close.
So we have the skill base.
I believe so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Austal employs 12 Trinidadians, and in fact we're exporting our skilled labour to other countries and other regions around the world. So yeah, it's a very beneficial basis.
Trinidad and Tobago we're a pretty small country, and we know that this particular industry requires a great deal of land space, in order to get the work done properly. Is that going to be a challenge for us at all as we seek to advertise ourselves as open for business in this way? Or is it that we're going to be creating a special niche for certain kinds of work to be done?
Well, not really. Presently, there's the Labre site, which was the former Alutrin smelter port, which is available for this sort of industry. Presently, our Shipbuilding and Repair Development Company is in advanced negotiations with the National Energy Corporation, and we expect to have this concluded very shortly in terms of setting up, once again, another world-class shipbuilding and repair facility on our Gulf coast.
In terms of preparing to really take advantage of the possibilities here, what are we looking at in terms of a timeline if we make a decision to go in this direction? How long will it take us to really start to see significant gains?
Well, Austal as a shipbuilder and maintainer of ships is here and now, and we're working. It does require capitalisation. There are facilities here that do need updating, and that can be, it does require impetus, but it can be within the next foreseeable future within this term.
What size business are we looking at here? Is this a multi-billion-dollar business?
Multi.
So it can significantly contribute to our economy?
Yes, over the last 2.5 years, we have gotten some 2.5 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars in inquiries from all over the world. Just earlier this week, I got an inquiry all the way from Bulgaria, from a well-established ship repair company wanting to partner and form collaboration with ourselves, as well as our stakeholders, which number some 51 stakeholders. Just yesterday, FD Fafa and Sons Limited has decided to come on board. They were recently appointed the distributors for Onan and Cummins gensets. And we have other stakeholders such as Trintrack, for example. They have been recently appointed distributors for ZF Marine, as well as other well-known brands.
Most people think you have to go independent, but as you just mentioned, there may be the possibility of having bilateral arrangements with companies that exist around the world to be a sort of remote destination of their company. How possible is that also?
Indeed, and collaboration within the country. So I think all companies that contribute to the shipbuilding and repair industry need to work together to form a collaborative working environment in order to offer services that can genuinely compete globally. So it's important to, certainly Austal's vision is not to dominate the industry, but just to specialise in what we do and work with other members of the shipbuilding and repair company.
So these international bodies may well be setting up, say, satellite stations or operations here in Trinidad and Tobago, catering to what exactly? You know, is it that we're just going to be doing a particular niche, or are we going to be taking on all kinds of business that can be generated?
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, we are fortunate in that being close proximity to the shipping lanes, we have some 31,000 ocean-going ships that pass within 25 nautical miles of our coastline. So we're so well strategically placed on the world map. So companies like Austal and others have recognized that, and the government has been facilitating the process of establishing new ship building and ship repair yards.
But does it go the gamut from luxury craft to huge industrial tankers?
Yes, we cater, when we talk about ships, we're talking about the mega yachts to the ocean-going tankers, as you just mentioned.
So it's just a wide variety of business. That's
wide
possibility.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break with Wilfred Gannes, Chairman and CEO of the Shipbuilding and Repair Company. Also, Mr. Jason Steward of Austal. He's the Regional Service Manager. More here on First Step when we come back.
Welcome back to First Up, the First Stop in your busy day. We're putting the spotlight on the maritime and shipbuilding industry in this segment. One of the industries highlighted as a pillar for diversification of our economy here in Trinidad and Tobago. In with us, we have got Wilfred Gannes. He's the chairman and CEO of the Shipbuilding and Repairs Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. Also in with us, Steward. He's the regional service manager for Austal, which is, well, an international shipbuilding and repair entity on its own. Gentlemen, just before we took the break, we were looking at the possibility of perhaps joint ventures for developing our industry here in Trinidad and Tobago. And Mr. Gannes, you said that there have been many expressions of interest. How many of these expressions of interest are close to becoming concrete? How many of them you can see within the next, say, 3 to 5 years would actually be real joint ventures functioning here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, these expressions of interest are real. I say this because we have letters of commitment from the respective parties, from foreign partners wanting to team up with ourselves as well as our local stakeholders. We're just waiting on the government, as the case with Labrie, to get that facility operationalized, because we look at that as a quick jumpstart to furthering this initiative of diversifying our economy, as well as expanding our capacity and capabilities to repair vessels here locally.
What are these possible investors telling you they need to see, Mr. Austal? Because certainly letters of commitment and intent are one thing, but to move to the stage of multi-million-dollar investment and sign contracts for medium to long-term engagements is a completely different matter.
I think the first thing they want to see is self-reliance. So, for example, we need to use the facilities that are here already to demonstrate these capabilities. So, for example, the inter-island ferry needs to be maintained here in Trinidad, and I believe there are proposals to do so. So that's the Spirit and the Express. They need to be docked and maintained here at Carry Dock by local companies, to which Austal can contribute a small amount.
I guess if we're farming out work still here, it doesn't augur well for confidence.
That's right.
Because if we don't have confidence, if the local players don't have confidence in the skill base and the technical ability that's here, and we're still farming out shipbuilding and repair work, people looking outside saying, well, if they don't get their own business, why should they get our business?
Exactly.
So that's a significant step we need to make.
A significant step, and collaborative movements such as the shipbuilding and repair cooperative need to be effective. We need to actually create both facilities and infrastructure onshore, and we need to get contracts and complete them successfully so that we can actually create a portfolio of experience. But these things are happening. They can happen here and now. They can happen within this term, within the next 3 years. And we're certainly working towards that.
ETEC and the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Minister Cadiz has been going about trying to get investment for various sectors in Trinidad and Tobago. How engaged have you been with that ministry in terms of trying to get the states more significant commitment to this?
Yes, we work closely with ETEC. They have formed a new subsidiary of that state agency called InvestTT, and they went beforehand to India, and they're going to China, the People's Republic of China, again to seek out investments. The Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, through the Minister of Trade and Industry, has invited private sector